We're very glad that you're with us this morning. Jeremy is a very talented guy. That's why I want to be like him, because he can do an awful lot of stuff. And so you'll see some of the work that he's done in this presentation. Before I get started, get deep into what our journey has been here over the past year when Jeremy joined us, I wanted to give you a few stats that will help you. It'll help give a little context to why we have explored video so heavily over this past year. And these are stats. You can find these online. I just looked up video consumption stats, and I Googled it. And I'm just going to read a few of those to you. YouTube has over 1 billion users, almost 1/3 of the total internet users. 45% of people watch more than an hour of Facebook or YouTube videos a week. Of those people that watch the Facebook videos, about 85% of them, they don't even listen to them. They don't engage the sound. They're just watching what's going on. More than 500 million hours of videos are watched on YouTube each day. More video content is uploaded in 30 days than the major U.S. television networks have created in 30 years. So video, it's really become an essential part of our culture. And our students, they engage it either in the classroom, they engage it outside the classroom, and we want to share a little bit about what we're doing to work with students in the realm of video. As we do that, I want to give you a little context for Belhaven University. Belhaven University is a private liberal arts college, and it's located in Jackson, Mississippi. So that's where our traditional campus is. We also have some satellite campuses. Those are our adult campuses you kind of see around the map. So we have some non-traditional students that engage in learning there. And then we have we're out there online, and we're across the country. So we're all over the place. So that just gives you a little bit of perspective on who we are. Video, how are we using video? We use video quite a bit. We have over 1,100 hours of video content that we have gathered from developers in-house. So we have 8-week courses. Both our undergrad and grad courses are 8 weeks long. And this will give you a little context. Each week we have about an hour of video for our undergrad, about 40 minutes for our grad, and that's where we get the 1,100 hours. 1,100 hours, what's that look like? Kind of practically, or not, maybe it's not so practical. You could watch 120 Lord of the Rings marathons in 1,100 hours, so that's a lot of watching. You could roast 300 Thanksgiving turkeys in 1,100 hours. And then finally, you could watch Usain Bolt run the 100 meters 396,000 times. Within 1,100 hours. That's how much video content that we extract from our faculty and our developers. That does not count YouTube videos that are plugged into courses or videos that faculty want to do through announcements and that kind of thing, or just extra instructional videos. So that's just things that we capture in a studio. Now, what are we going to do during the session? We're going to answer a few questions, and actually we have 4 of them up here. One, how is Belhaven using video? We'll kind of share a little bit of where we've been, and we're going to talk a little bit about how our faculty are using video, or in some cases how they're not using video. And then we'll discuss whether or not students are watching. We have some data that we've pulled, and we've partnered with ARC, so we have some data that we're going to share that's come about from that. And it's telling, it's interesting, and I think you'll appreciate it. And then finally, we'll talk about what we've learned during the process.
Okay. All right. So when I started at Belhaven a little over a year ago, I showed up, and they took me to a room, and there was just a ton of boxes on the floor. It looked like B&H had kind of brought all the Christmas presents you ever wanted. And they basically said, build a studio. And so we took the Penn State model, the one-button studio, and we kind of created what we thought would be the simplest studio design on the face of the planet. But as is the case, typically when you make things very simple, it doesn't always work that well when you have instructors that don't really know how to troubleshoot. I'm trying to, let's see. So here is kind of the setup that we have. It's green screen studio, and as you can see, it's on one of our instructional sites, which is where we take up about 2 floors of an office building. We have our instructors go in, they can plug in their USB, they can hit a button and it starts recording. And Penn State has all this information online, how to build it, all the materials that you need, and it really is pretty easy to set up. But some of the things that we experienced that were real big problems, they revolved around audio. We have developers that are going into the studio on the weekends, at night, and even though there may not necessarily be classes going on, there's still all the HVAC noise that's going on. We are dealing with instructors that are at different heights. And the way that we're trying to handle our audio issues, we have a shotgun mic hanging from the ceiling. Doesn't make it the easiest thing for us to be able to adjust. So if we don't kind of have a developer that's at that kind of typical height, what I end up having to do is scrub a lot of background noise out of the video after the fact. So this is something we're working on, haven't figured it out yet. But once our faculty go in here, you know, they basically come back to us with green screen footage. They bring that USB back to us, we hand it over to our editors, and we end up with a finished product that looks a lot like this. This is what our students see every week. They will get a combination of this or full screen kind of lecture notes. And, you know, it's one of those things where we're hoping that it's really kind of making an impact. And we'll kind of talk about that a little bit more with some of the data. Excuse me. But I did want to go back, I forgot to mention another thing that we have to deal with the studio. Like I said, we've got our developers coming in on the weekends, at night. How do we support them? We typically have to have somebody on call. When we've got instructors coming in from out of town, we had one developer that came in, his wife was going to go into labor in a few days, and he was panicking when something didn't work. So that's something you have to think ahead on. But what do we do with all this video? We take it and we actually throw it into ARC. We began the ARC integration about a year ago, and we had to move about 40,000 different pieces of video from the old media uploader tool into ARC. And the ARC team was great about that. It took us a while to identify all that video, push it out there. Just so we can show you a little bit, this is kind of what the background looks like. You can kind of find images like this. But like Aaron was saying, we bring in developers. And to give you a little bit more idea of what we mean when we say developers, our curriculum development team, they identify content experts. They bring them in. This expert builds out the course. And then it's kind of our template that we send out to all of our different sections. So every single student that's getting this video, it's the same throughout every single course. And of course, every bit of it's created in-house at one of our 2 studios. And one of the major things that we've tried to do during this process is actually go through a captioning process. We didn't have the budget to outsource it, to be honest. We had students that were entering into our MBA program, and we needed something right then. And so what did we do? We created kind of an in-house process in the most inexpensive way that we possibly could, in the most efficient way that we possibly could. So what I did, I took an Automator tool on a Mac, and I set it up to look for video content on our network drive. It takes that video content, and it strips out any audio from it. It throws it into a different folder, and that's where we get Dragon to kind of come into mix. We have it running, kind of an auto transcription process that's going. It's always looking on that network drive. It takes that, creates that transcript file, and then we kind of made it with the video content as well as, you know, those transcripts in YouTube, because we found that that's the easiest way to kind of edit that audio and the transcripts. And thankfully, we have student workers that are doing that for us. And it's amazing that they have not just completely pulled out their hair doing it, because we have a lot of instructors with really strong kind of Southern accents. And Dragon doesn't do well with those. If you kind of have, you know, a modicum of diction and you kind of speak at an even tone. Dragon does pretty well with it, to be honest. But we need these students to go through and kind of go through every single one of these lectures. So you can imagine it's quite a long, laborious process. Then we take all that and we made it up with ARC. The nice thing we noticed about ARC is that when we attached a SRT file, a caption file, to a video in one place, it dispersed it to every single instance of that video across our platform, which was great. We were really excited about that. It meant that we weren't going to have to go in and do individual. And that's kind of how ARC, to a degree, works, because when we upload a video and it goes into a course, it's not really a copy of that video, but it kind of is. I know Gentry and the guys at ARC can tell you a little bit more about that. It kind of creates an instance of it. And I'm actually going to turn it back over to Aaron, talk about a little bit the faculty use.
All right, before I jump on the faculty use, I wanted to let you know, I went over to the ARC tent yesterday, and I was talking to Gentry. He's the guy we've been working with as we've been trying to get everything up and running. And he mentioned to me that they have a captioning. Well, you heard it yesterday. So they have a nice captioning resource that you can use. And it may cut out a lot of this extra work that we've created for ourselves, but we needed to do it at the time. So that's something that you want to be mindful of. So faculty use, what do we do with our faculty? Well, we train them, and as they enter in to teach for us. We're focusing specifically right now on online faculty. When Jeremy was talking about deploying the courses out, that's not for our traditional faculty, strictly our online or non-traditional learners. So our faculty go through a training, and we teach them how to use ARC to upload a video announcement. We require them to do that in the training so they have a good sense of how that takes place. And we encourage them within their course to upload a welcome to the students and also to upload some weekly announcements. That way the students they see who their faculty are, and they get a sense of whether they care about them, because sometimes you can type something in, you can send a text message, you can post a text announcement, and the students, they read it and they think, boy, this faculty's a jerk, because they don't have the context. But the faculty, they're just kind of speaking very plainly. If you talk to them on the phone, you get a whole totally different story. So the video speaks volumes, and it really, I've seen it help a lot of faculty out that struggle with their text messaging. The way they type things out. So we encourage our faculty to do this, and we also, we endeavor to hold them accountable. So we keep an eye on what's going on in our learning environment. One way we do that is we pull Canvas data, and we have been using this at the end of every term. We send this out to our faculty. We let them know, we tell them what our minimum expectation is. We remind them of that constantly. Two, we tell them how they did. So in here, this was just announcement activity. This isn't looking specifically at video. The next slides will, but we have minimum expectation up here at the top, their total number of announcements, and then their peer average. So they get a sense of how their peers are doing, how they're doing against the minimum requirements, and we send this out to them, and sometimes they share their thoughts on it. A lot of them thank us for it, and they tell us that they're going to work to improve. So that's some data that we send out. We also send out, we don't send this out, but we have a faculty mentor that will keep an eye on things at the end of a term on occasion. They don't do this at the end of every term, but they'll look at how faculty are engaging in the video realm. So here you can see this is a video welcome, and about 20% of this mentor's faculty posted a video announcement. This was just a small sampling. And that was the welcome to the course. When we look at weekly announcements, it looks pretty much the same. This still 20% right there. So our faculty, they have not fully engaged using video on their own. It's something we're encouraging them to do, something that we're providing training. We're going to provide more training in the future, but they haven't launched out in that area real heavily yet. How does it look in ARC? Well, when we deployed ARC, you could deploy it where comments were enabled. So students could go in and they can make comments on videos. We have a lot of video. And we knew that when we deployed ARC, our faculty needed to be on their toes. So we did not enable the comments in all the courses, but we did do it in a sampling. I taught one of the courses in which the comments were enabled, so I could get an idea of how that worked out. Here you kind of see a sampling of what that looks like, how the comments come up on the screen, and the students, they can type the comments in, and I got a smattering of things in my course. Some, they spoke to the content. Sometimes it looked like they were engaging it like they would a YouTube video. I had one student that actually, they asked a question. They were wondering about some course materials, and had I not been monitoring it, that would have, been totally missed. So we're happy that we didn't deploy the comments across the board, but that's a little bit of work for us down the road, because we need to really bring our faculty up to speed so that they can engage the students within this context. My great hope is that sometime in the future, ARC may be able to embed this within a discussion. You think about how dynamic that could become within the context of a course. You have a lecture. We have lectures in traditional classrooms, and a student will raise their hand, they'll ask questions, they'll interact around that content. They could do the same thing as they watch a video lecture online. They could pop out a question, they could interact with the faculty. And that's something that excites me as an instructor. So that's something I'm hoping for down the road. Yeah, question?
Is interface generally embeddable?
Embeddable? Yeah, Jeremy, you want to
Yes.
hop in here?
Now, when you say the interface, are you referring to the comments or ARC as a whole?
The video, this whole concept?
Yes. When we go to each course or a page where we want to deploy video, there is, in the rich content editor, a little icon for ARC. You hit that, and it's going to bring up any video that you kind of own or that's assigned to you. And you can either choose one of those videos, or you can upload one, or you can grab a YouTube link and throw it in there, and it sits on the page. And you can just kind of imagine kind of your Canvas interface that just kind of surrounds it. It's just like content on any other page.
So where do the comments live?
They live with the video, with that individual instance of the video, because there's kind of an ARC media side to this. It's a different site that you can log in and kind of look at your video collections, and you can kind of get an overall sense of who's watching what. But those comments live right there within that course. If you copy the course over, those comments don't come with it.
And I see there are a few more hands. We're getting close to the end, but we'll take questions at the end. And I also wanted to let you know that I know ARC has a session after us, so you can kind of head back to the conference center and check that out too, if you're interested in their product. So that's a little bit of the faculty side. Data. The data is, I love to look at data. I can't process it all on my own, but I love to look at it, and because it always tells a story. This is one instance of data from ARC that they've been very gracious to provide to us. And this is an intro course, actually. And you have the x-axis. The x-axis is the scores in the course, so 0 to 100. The y, as you go up, this is the percent of video that they viewed. So as you look at this, you can see down here, students that viewed 50% or less of the video down here in this quadrant, those students didn't score so well in the course. So, while we're disappointed that the students didn't do well, that's kind of exciting for us to see. They didn't watch the video, they didn't do real well. You have this group up here in the upper quadrant. They watched the video, they watched 50% or greater of the video, and they did pretty well. And then you look down here, and you have some of these students that didn't watch it, but look, they still did pretty well in the course. So that's one view. This is an intro course. This is the first course in an undergrad program, so students are naturally going to engage the content a little bit more. We also, with this data, we had the comments enabled in some of the courses. So that's my disclaimer, because I'm going to show you the stuff that we're not so excited about when we look at the data. So here's another look, and you can see this is our grad program, and at the 50% mark, below that, you see these students right down here. They scored pretty well in the course. They didn't watch any video. They didn't engage it at all. So we know that now, and that it troubles us a little bit. So we're trying to figure out, okay, what do we need to do, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. And then we still have some students. There are about 40% that watch 50% or more of the video, and they did all right in the course. So that's a view of our undergrad. Not a whole lot different. It's more of a 50-50 break. The other one was more of a 60-40. So about 50%. They engaged 50% or less than the video, and then 50% engaged 50% or more. So that's a look at our data, and it's caused us to really ask ourselves some questions. What have we learned as we've done all this? So what have we gotten out of it? And well, we're re-examining things, and we're asking ourselves questions. And one of which is, do we make our videos shorter?
Yeah, right now a typical video lasts anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes, and depending on undergrad, grad, the overall amount of video content that week. I've spoken with people at different institutions, and they say, well, we make our videos 8 minutes and below. But for the amount of video we're requiring our students to watch, I mean, how much do we really want to pepper them with individual videos? But hopefully we're going to begin to use a lot of this data coming in from art to guide that process. It's still a question that we're asking ourselves and trying to work our way through.
Mm-hmm. And this kind of raises the question, do we engage the cultural mindset, and do we make these tiny snippets, these ones that are highly entertaining? I don't know that we do that, but because there are other ways that we can attack the problem. One of which is making the videos more interactive. And I know the ARC team, they're working on some different things. I think they're working on quizzing down the road to engage students within the context of the video a little bit more. And as I mentioned, I think that it would be highly valuable to figure out how you could develop the video around the opportunity for students to discuss the content within it, to make it more like an authentic lecture. And then finally, we started to really wonder, are we just addressing some different learning styles? We had students that really, they engaged the video. They were watching the audio, or watching the video, listening to the audio. They engaged it that way. We also upload our PowerPoint slides. And for some of our developers, their PowerPoint slides are very, very similar to what they say within the course. I actually talked to a student, and I said, hey, so you watch the videos within your course? And she said, no. She said, I download the PowerPoint. She said, I learn much better that way. So are we hitting different learning styles? So now we're asking the question, well, we have students that are engaging the video, so it seems to hold some value for a group of our students. We have some students that may just be reading the text, grabbing the PowerPoint, and processing information that way. And we're wondering, do we start to just address those students that may be the more auditory? Do we upload that as a podcast to where students can pull it down, they can listen to it on their way to work, or engage it while they're working out, or whatever they want to do? So we've asked ourselves these questions, and now we want to open up and attempt to answer any questions you may have. So we'll start right here in the front.
So with the ARC raw data, we're pulling everything in using Canvas data, Redshift. Is that included in that? Is that something you guys built out on your back end? Or is that something natively you log into ARC and it's there?
The ARC data? The ARC team has been pulling that for us and sending it to us. So they've been providing that to us specifically, and you could probably ask them more questions about that later on. Yes?
You had a slide prior to the pie chart with some informative data that you had giving to faculty about looking to see how
This one?
How did you get
That data? This is Canvas data. So this all came out of Canvas data, and we have a guy on our team that's processed it, and we plug it in and send it out. So he has it set up so it's pretty systematic.
Admins can normally get? You have to get somebody from Canvas to do it?
No, this is something, if you have someone on your team that's pretty data savvy, that they can pull it down for you and work a report like this out. Maybe someone in your IT department. But this has been really helpful. It's cut down a lot of manual labor. So it's been really significant. Yes, sir?
Comment to that question. Concerns about the issue in regards to shortening the videos.
All right.
The other question I had was in regards to comments within the video and how that doesn't seem to really play out the way you guys were hoping. Has anybody considered embedding the art video into the top of the discussion forum as the instructions to curate that conversation? And if so, have you had any success with that?
We've considered it, but we haven't done it yet. Okay. So, yeah, thank you.
Is there a limit on how long the videos can be?
A limit on how long the videos can be. For our developers, those are the people that are coming in and recording for us. They cannot exceed 20 minutes. They're not supposed to exceed 20 minutes for a given lecture segment. If you're doing a weekly announcement, there's no limit. We encourage them to do those very briefly, so it's not something that they're droning on because they're not high quality, so it's a little bit less.
Could you use it to record your classes, to record the actual lecture?
To record the actual lecture?
Yes,
go ahead, Jamie.
right now, ARC doesn't have kind of that native record function that you're going to find in the media uploader tool. So you will have to record it using a different device. If you use an iPhone or an Android device, you can record it on there, and if you go to ARC using either the app or logging in on your browser, you can find that video on your phone to upload into your course. So, yes.
So I'm not sure I heard all the comments behind me, but did I understand that if the videos are captioned, students can then search the captions, or they cannot?
No, at this point, there's really not a search feature for captions. And then, that's another thing we're considering. In addition to the captions, do we also just provide that transcript? So
Do you bookmark the videos for particular topics, or how do students, if it's a 20-minute video and they want a particular topic?
We have not engaged that yet.
Yeah.
That's something that we hope to be able to do in the future. So, and yeah.
So we're just starting our Canvas courses in the fall, and we have ARC, but I haven't started working with it yet. So I have two questions for you. What's the best way to get up to speed for the faculty that want to create announcements, video announcements? And our communications department needs students to upload their videos, so I wanted to know about the space for that. That's allowed because ARC, of course, is only like 500 megabytes.
yeah, as far as I know, the course. I'm sorry. Oh, she said that they're starting their Canvas courses this fall and trying to figure out kind of what's the fastest way to get those faculty members up and running with their announcements. And they also have students in their communications courses that need to upload video, and was wondering about the size. As far as we know, there's no limit, and just like in the media uploader tool, that content doesn't count against your course quota limit. So I can.
So do you create an announcement, and does it have something for like video upload, or is it like
Yes.
an online thing?
Yes, when you go into anywhere that there's a rich content editor for ARC, you're going to see that little kind of link. But like I was mentioning, there's not that native function to record, so they will have to record it somewhere else to upload it in ARC. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So once ARC is enabled, then will that change the way the assignments look right now? Because right now I don't see it. All I see is the online upload.
Yes, it will. You'll see it. It'll be like a little blue square in there with the ARC logo.
And then how do the faculty create a video announcement?
How do they create a
Do they do
video
it from the
announcement?
rich content editor?
That's where they upload it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where
They
they.
just record it with their iPad?
Yeah, they can record with any device and just upload it there. So.
Yeah. Okay. Sir.
For just taking 20 minutes of video as an example, how many other personnel hours are involved in doing the automator, in doing the transcription,
Yes.
and in doing the editing?
Yes, well, the first 2/3 of that process are completely automated. The finding the video content, extracting the audio, et cetera, we start to touch it when it goes into YouTube. And you can kind of, depending on who's doing it, we've got some great English majors that are doing it, and we can expect about 2 to 3 times the length of the video to actually go back through it and scrub it for any mistakes.
For transcription, and then for the video editing, how long?
Oh, that portion, the video editing, depending on who's recording it. Some developers get in there and they can do it in one big hit, and it's great. Some, I messed up, So it can take a little bit of time. I couldn't give you a rough idea though.
I saw a hand at the back.
Yeah, actually, a follow-up to the captioning. I think you mentioned this, but once you have the transcript and the material that comes out of Dragon, it's been edited, how do you handle the timing? Is that YouTube's?
Yes. We just found that it's just got the easiest to use interface, because when you go into YouTube and you start editing your captions, every time you start typing, it kind of stops. And the nice thing is we can upload a transcript from Dragon. It's just a rich text file, just kind of copy and paste it in there. And YouTube will kind of go ahead and do the best it can to kind of find the breaks. So you're not in there trying to do timestamp.
Yes.
You wanted to add captions to the, like an iPad video that's playing in ARC. Can you like upload an RTF file and it automatically syncs?
No, you would have to use an SRT file.
Oh, that's fine.
Yes. If you upload that SRT file, it's going to have those timestamps in it. So throw it in there and it'll be good.
We found a place that charges $1 per minute
Yeah.
for a video.
Yeah. Check out the ARC presentation. I think that'd be probably worth your time.
Sorry, man. What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. Sorry.
I wanted to reiterate some comments from the back earlier. We're very new to lecture capture and that kind of things. But one of the things I've done in the class is for a discussion prompt, I'll put a TED Talk. Something in the video that already exists, and that's a great discussion prompt. And so I highly recommend integrating with the discussions. But also the comments about chunking the video. I'm a supporter of chunks video. I'm even in the 4 to 6 minute.
Yeah.
Generally, but it would be interesting to do some A/B testing and put a course with a 20-minute video, put that same video chunked into maybe 4 minutes, and run the stats.
Yeah. So those are things that we haven't jumped into yet, but they're good things for us to look at, figuring out how to chunk the video in an appropriate way to serve students. So
You
yeah.
can script it, and so that it's easily chunkable. However, if you guys script or not script.
No, a lot of times when our developers come in to record, it's just like anybody would go into a classroom to lecture. And so it takes a lot more time on the front end to kind of tell them, okay, you've got this long. And if they're in the studio by themselves, like if they're a one-button studio, there's nobody there to regulate it. And so sometimes it's kind of hard for our video editors to kind of find that natural break, because they're not the content expert. They're looking at it from a production standpoint.
Yeah.
Where do you find the content expert? Are they your faculty or?
They come from everywhere. Aaron can probably speak more to that one.
Yeah, and largely we have a large pool of adjunct faculty, and we'll look to them and look to people that we know outside of the organization that have areas of expertise, and we'll just pull them in to help us out. So, any other questions? If not, well, thank you very much for attending our session. We appreciate it.